In a major boost to the 2611 trial, imprisoned Pakistani origin Canadian businessman Tahawwur Rana, he is going to be extradited to India following a significant legal development that has taken shape in the United States. Now, let's not forget, in August this year, beg your pardon, last year, we're looking at the first day of 2025, still have to get used to that, but the US Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit upheld Tahawwur Rana's extradition under the existing treaty between the United States and India. Now, diplomatic efforts were underway to facilitate this particular transfer of Tahawwur Rana to India, where he faces serious charges related to his involvement in one of the most devastating terrorist attacks in Indian history. Let's take a look at the charges as well. Now, Tahawwur Rana has been linked to the 2008 Mumbai attack that claimed the lives of over 170 people. He is accused of aiding the terrorists by assisting with reconnaissance, helping them with all kinds of facilitation efforts alongside, of course, the big name David Coleman Headley, who is considered one of the masterminds of the 2611 attack as well. Now, the Mumbai police included Tahawwur Rana in their comprehensive 405-page charge sheet, where, by the way, Tahawwur Rana is named as an operative for Pakistan's Inter-Services Intelligence, the ISI, and the terror group Lashkar-e-Toiba, the LET. Investigators allege that Rana helped produce a blueprint that was used by the attackers to plan their assault. Now, the extradition process, it has gained momentum after the US Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit upheld Rana's extradition back in August 2024. The US court concluded that India had presented sufficient evidence to establish probable cause that Rana was involved in the Mumbai attacks. Rana had previously appealed his extradition in the lower courts, including the US Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit in San Francisco, but that was unsuccessful. Now, the India-US treaty, it permits Rana's extradition. This was said by the US Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit and had ruled in a similar vein back in August. Rana's extradition is governed by the treaty between the United States and India, which facilitates the transfer of individuals charged with some serious crimes. He then filed a petition for writ of certiorari with the Supreme Court on the 13th of November. And the panel also found that the non-bis in idem, which is double jeopardy exception, did not apply in Rana's case, as the charges against him in India were distinct from those for which he was acquitted in the United States. Now, Rana's extradition to India, it would represent a significant step in ensuring justice for the victims of the 2611 attack. Joining me here on the broadcast is Major General Sanjay Mestan, defense and geopolitical expert. General, first and foremost, how significant is this move? I've sort of tried to break this entire dialogue down into 5 main questions, but first and foremost, about the milestone. How significant is this?
Kabir, good evening. It's a very significant step for India. It's a victory for India and a victory for the systems of India, which involves the Mumbai Police, the National Investigative Agency, and the Government of India then and as on date. It's a total victory. Now, the extradition treaty between India and US was signed in 1997. So, based on that treaty, this has happened. And I think the NIA had vigorously followed it up, especially after 2009 when charge sheets were against Rana and also against David Headley and against those Pakistani Hafiz Saeed and 6 other, including 2 majors, which was, of course, sent to Pakistan. Now, these 2 people, unfortunately, one was a Canadian citizen, one was a US citizen. So, the NIA had followed up, and NIA, luckily, because of the good rapport or relations we have between India and United States, the NIA was even given chances to interrogate these people in the United States. So I would just sum it up that it's a total victory for the Indian system. Both the governments had followed up. The present government had been following it up vigorously. The NIA had been number of times, and of course the start point is the fantastic investigation carried out by the Mumbai police because the whole teamwork was involved in this. So therefore, I can just say it is a total victory for India and also the victims of 2611 dastardly attack by this by this group of people.
You're absolutely right. It is absolute victory for India. And needless to say, for the coming days, 2611 is again going to be taking over the headlines. But talking about the intelligence and the security implications, what next in the 2611 trial? How is this extradition going to, unravel something new in this particular trial? How are you looking at that particular development?
See, firstly, we have got already a lot of inputs on these trials which have been going on, and the NIA was given, access to these two people, including David Headley. So, firstly, the charge sheet is now ready, and based on that, the extradition is actually now happened, or rather, very shortly, maybe in 1, 2, 3 months, this individual will be here. But one thing to be kept in mind is he was given in 2013 14 years of imprisonment, which will actually finish off in 27. So will the extradition happen after 27, or simultaneously the extradition can happen, and the balance of his jail term, would it be legal in India? I'm not aware about that. So that is a point to consider. Now, what will happen is since we have all the data and the NIA has done a fantastic job, so therefore the charge sheet will be prepared obviously accordingly to that, and he will be tried. It will take a lot of time, and Kasab, who was interrogated and of course who was given the death sentence, so his statements and everything has been corroborated, including Headley. So this will now give us further impetus to try and get even David Headley, though he has been given 35 years of imprisonment, and whether the US will agree, because he has cooperated with the US agencies, so probably his extradition may not happen. Now, how is it going to implicate the others, Hafiz Saeed and the 6 other people, including 2 majors who are based in Pakistan? Now, Pakistan definitely is not going to extradite, but definitely, I think we can put a lot of pressure. So, the pressure by the government of India on the Pakistan authorities, and also, I think now we can take up jointly with the United States, since they have cooperated very well. And not only that, I think in the United Nations and other countries, we need to start talking
Here,
about it.
General. My apologies for interjecting here, but we need to touch a little bit upon the international collaboration here as well. How does this extradition affect India's diplomatic leverage? I mean, we know about this particular treaty as well. It was rejected earlier. Now, finally, we've made some sort of victory. You're calling it absolute victory for India. But talk about India's diplomatic leverage and the importance of, intergovernmental and international collaboration to, come through and succeed on these kind of things.
Very true. That's absolutely essential. Intergovernmental cooperation, and especially these are diplomatic achievements. So, at various levels, I would say, whether it is with America, whether it is with Russia, with large, including with UAE, with many countries, we have gone into this extradition treaty, including with Bangladesh. But it's got some different clauses. Political people cannot be, I think, extradited, something of that sort. So with various countries, we have an intergovernmental organization function. Not only that, even for counter-terrorism, counter-intelligence, intelligence sharing, all these kind of things, the various setups are there. So at all levels, whether it is the armed forces, whether it is intelligence agencies, whether it is police, whether it is NIA, sharing of information and these extradition treaties, I think it's a big achievement for the government of India. And let me tell you this process. That's why my first statement was it's a victory for the system. So the systems have been evolved over a period of time, and with large number of countries, we have established such kind of extradition treaties. And I'm quite sure, including with some of these East Asian countries, we have got it. So India will look forward to this kind of a thing more, because today terrorism has become order of the day, unfortunately, in the world. You even just highlighted the American attack at New Orleans and what happened in Germany. So this is today going to be the order of the day. So it evolves on all these allied countries that we need to share intelligence, we need to tackle counter-terrorism, and we have to have judicial mechanisms where extradition between countries is possible, and such terrorists cannot be cannot be left in a system where they are not accountable. So this kind of a thing between the government of India and various countries and various intergovernmental organizations, I think it's a step in the right direction. And especially, as I mentioned, terrorism today is the order of day. So therefore, the requirement of such kind of extradition treaties and a lot of sharing of intelligence, etc., is extremely important and crucial for national security. Kabir.
All right. General, you know what? You've summed that up very nicely for us. Of course, it is a waiting game now. We'll have to wait and find out as to when Thakur Rana in physicality does come back here and the trial actually proceeds. But before I let you go and we wrap this segment up, future deterrence is also something that I wanted to talk about. Can this extradition set now a precedent for future activities like this? And when you're talking about that, what challenges could India face?
See, firstly, the challenges, I would say, yes, this is a good thing. It will act as a deterrence for people who, take advantage of operating from various other countries. But the challenges are, see, firstly, why these crimes have happened, why this 2611 has happened. The start point is character like David Headley, who was a US citizenship. His original name is Gilani. Now, his parents are of Pakistan origin. He changed his passport and whatever it is, and father's name was not mentioned, and he even gave the name of his father as William Headley. So the whole problem is that Indian embassy there had even given him a visa. So the challenges are firstly internal. Now, Bangladesh, what is happening? Afghanistan, when I was a defense attaché, I remember a lot of these people, Pakistanis, used to travel with fake passports to Afghanistan, and in Afghanistan, you could get passports very easy. So some of these people would apply in the Indian embassy for the visa. So therefore, our internal look from another entry point is Nepal. So I think our visa systems from all these neighboring countries and especially with even other countries, we need to be strict. I think we cannot have anyone entering our country, and therefore the visas things have to be very very strict. Detailed checks have to be there. Lot of background checks have to be there. Because some of these people come in the garb of businessmen. I remember from Afghanistan, some of them would just try to come as businessmen. So these procedures have to be very, very, I would say, streamlined so that firstly, people cannot enter the Indian soil and carry out terrorist activities. Next, joint sharing intelligence, counter intelligence, terrorism is something which we need to enhance with maximum countries because today most of parts of the world, including Russia, are facing terrorist acts. So therefore, this has to be enhanced. And this again is a challenge because how many countries would be falling for this kind of system. But knowing the Indian diplomacy and knowing the political system of India, I think we will impress upon large number of governments to sign this kind of extradition treaty. And I think this is going to be uh, a challenging thing, but I'm quite sure with our intent, it can be overcome. And the way the NIA has been doing all this, I think it's a great success. So overall, to sum it up, if we have strict systems, I think we will overcome, yes,
All
the
right.
challenges. Especially,
Well,
of course, the biggest challenge is Pakistan and now Bangladesh.